Today we've got another Macross deck, this one revolving around two characters, Basara and Mylene. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mobby here, and today I'm going to be giving you my personal deck profile for this red Macross deck. Let's get started. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I upload daily duels and deck profiles for different anime TCGs. Alright guys, here we go. These are the action points that I'm using featuring these two characters, which is going to be the raid source. The overall game plan is to have Basara be the frontline attacker, with Mylene being support cards, and absolutely trying to get out your gigantic 7 cost. How? Well, a lot of support cards, that's how. If you guys just want the deck profile, because this is going to be a video breakdown, head on over to my website, mobbytcg.com. There I upload everything easy for you to grab and see, as well as English translated proxies for different animes that we post on here. Okay, so let's get started. As mentioned, it's going to be raiding on Basara and raiding on Mylene. Let's start from the 0 cost all the way to the 7 cost. So this is Basara Neki. This is a fire bomber, which is relevant in this deck, the traits. So 0 cost, when this character attacks and wins a battle, you draw 1 card, and the opponent returns the character that lost to their hand instead of retire. So this is an important sort of ability that you need to understand. So only when he attacks, not when blocks or anything like that. So you win, you draw a card, which is net positive for you. However, the opponent gets to turn that character back to their hand if it died instead of retired. So on sideline effects won't activate, it would just get bounced straight back. If that character was a raided character, the raid card would go back to your hand. The raid source should go to the trash, and that's how this card works. Okay, so active here, this is the trigger, active 3000, and it's a 2000 attacker, Basara. This is probably the best character that you want to throw on for the raid card. Alright, next is Mylene. Oh, I'm not sure how you say it. Is it Mylene or Mylene? I'm going to say Mylene for now. Flare Genius, another fire bomber. So as a 0 cost on play, draw 1 and trash 1. Basically what you're looking for are the 3 cost raid Mylenes and the 7 cost Basaras. That is your win condition. Those are the cards you want to keep, and then trash the rest if they don't fit your curve. On the trigger here is draw a card, a 1500 character. Once again, 0 cost, the best character to raid on. Now for your last of these 0 costs, this is a girl with a bouquet. This one does not have a trait here. So on play, you're going to look at the top 4 cards, reveal 1 Basara, add it to your hand. If you grab the one, then you get to trash 1 card. Basara, so you get any of your raid sources or the raid cards for Basara, and that's what this card is in the deck for. There's 2 of these, making it so you have 10 0 cost cards. Moving over to the 1 cost, we have another Mylene, Fire Bomber. On play, it's another searching card. You're going to look at the top 4. However, you're going to grab a Fire Bomber or Gamlin Kazaki. Gamlin is not in this deck, so don't worry about that. Fire Bomber, though, just remember, Mylene and Basara, they're all Fire Bombers, so you're going to be able to grab those. Once again, you want your raid cards. If you grab the one, you have to trash 1. Pretty decent as a 2000 attacker to throw on the front line as well. It's a good secondary card to use for your raid card. Now for your second energy plus cost per people. Alright, 2 energy, Mylene, Fire Bomber, so searchable. If this character is active, plus 1 energy. Now just keep in mind that your final card that you want to activate is a 7 cost. So how are you going to get it? You need a lot of these cards, but also there's a specific raid card of Mylene's that will help with that. So just remember, you want a lot of really good energies in the back. Otherwise, you're not going to get out your win condition. So this is it, 2500. Most likely this character wants to stay in the back line in the whole game. You have 4 of these. Basara Neki, this is one of your 2 costs. So if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, and basically that's why you have sort of abilities like this. It helps you keep cards. So if you attack and win, you get to draw a card, which is kind of good. Yeah, you give your opponent that, but basically you get to draw a card. They grab the one that they got, they have to play it again, so they have to use up an action. Basically you get more benefit because your character stays on the board, you draw an extra card. But basically, yeah, if you have 5 or more cards, this character permanently gains 500 BP and impact negate. So on your turn and your opponent's turn, it will be 3500, making it, that's really good. 3500 for a 2 cost is great. When this character attacks and wins, you draw 1 as well. So every Basara in the deck is going to have this ability. Just keep that in mind. The trigger here is going to be active 3000. So this is a really early game powerful card. Wow, that's pretty good. Now for another Mylene card. This is a 3 cost Fire Bomber. on play, if your opponent has drawn a card this turn, you get to also draw a card. Now, it must be okay, so it's important to know that your opponent grabbing a card via Basara does not count as drawing a card. There is like another card in here that lets the opponent draw a card, so it's very, very niche that you're going to be using the ability for the effect. You primarily want her on the board just to get the 2 energy, because this one doesn't matter if it's rested or active, you will be getting this 2 energy. The trigger here is active 3000 and 3000 power. Another card you want to leave on the back line as much as possible. All right, time for your raid card. So this is VF 11 Max Thunderbolt Valkyrie, but let's just say raid Mylene for sake of simplicity here. So you raid on any of your Mylenes, which is a lot of them. You got 3 cost Mylenes, you have 2 costs, you have 1 cost, you have 0 costs, you have a ton of Mylenes, and it's only a 3, which is pretty cool. And this also has 2 energy. So, on play, you get the draw 1 card, which is great. Main, when in the front line, you rest this card. So, you can leave it on the back line for energy, and when you need to use this effect, move it up that turn, or, move it up right away to do some attacking. But basically, you can rest this card. During this turn, you're going to reduce the energy characters in your hand with Basara in their name by 2 for the whole turn. So, basically, a 2-cost Basara, it's 0 energy to throw on the field. And it's all of them, by the way, all of them this turn. So, once again, the best case scenario, you have these 7 costs, you use it, and it goes down to a 5 cost. Very good. If you don't get this, it's really hard for you to summon that 7 cost, because you're going to have 3 2 energies and one energy in the backline minimum to summon that 7 cost. So, Mylene, definitely needed if you want to easily throw out your late game Basara 7 costs. So also, when attacking, if you have 5 or more cards, once again, another one of these abilities where if you have 5 or more cards, this character gets 1000. So basically it's 3 with an amazing ability, you get a card, and if you have 5 or more, you get to draw 1 and the 2 energy. And the trigger here is add or raid if you can. Very versatile card, so do what you need with it. If you need a frontliner to throw it out, if you want it in the back line, go ahead, but remember, it must be in the front line for you to rest the card. Okay, time for a Basara 3 cost, and this is your 4 colors of the deck. So your turn, this character gains 1000 BP, making it a 4000 on your turn. Your opponent's turn, it's going to be a 3000 blocker. And once again, it has the same Basara effect. When you attack and win, you draw 1, etc. So this is 2 energy also, so another great card to put in the backline. You have a ton of these, because if you don't get these cards, you better hope that you can fill your backline with these. And that's pretty much it. The color here is a basic red one. If your opponent's front line is 25, trigger, choose an opponent's front line 2500 or less and sideline it. Now for your 4 finals of the deck. This is listen to my song. Choose up to 2 of your AP and switch them to active. The trigger here is if this is your final card during the trigger, you heal 1. Nothing special, your basic 4 finals. Okay, now for another Neki Basara. The way that they translate it, it's pretty much Neki Basara, but it's Basara Neki, same thing. It's interchangeable the way they translated it here. Basically, when this character wins a battle, draw 1, same thing. So on play, you and your opponent draws 1 card. So that's really cool, because remember, it's pretty much the only card in here that works with this. So you want to do this one first, to you and your opponent to draw 1 card, then you play this. If your opponent has drawn a card, which they do during this, then you get to draw an extra card, and that's pretty much how that Mylene works. Okay, so main can only be activated if you have drawn 4 or more cards during this turn. You're going to be setting this character to active. This effect of Neki Basara can only be activated once per turn. So basically, if you throw out multiple of these Nekis, only the one should work. So basically, you draw 1 at the beginning of the turn. You have the option of using AP to draw an extra one. Then you use this guy to draw 1 more. But you need 1 more draw. How do you get that? Well, basically, you're going to be doing it from this Mylene as well, drawing 1 card. You have this Mylene to draw 1 card. And if you win, you also get to draw 1 card. However, that's during the attack phase, so that doesn't matter. The other ones you have here is this one, which it doesn't work. If you are searching for a card, that does not count as a draw, just so you know. So this card and this card does not count as a draw. So basically, you have very, very small scenarios which you can actually get 4 draws to when you play this become active. And the trigger here is adding this to your hand. So it's a decent card. You might be able to get the effect off to be a 4000 rusher for the most part. And that is 4. Now, time for your 4 specials of the deck. Totsugeki Love Heart. It's a Fire Bomber card. Choose one character on your opponent's front line, 5,000. Place it on the top or bottom by their choice. However, if you have a Basara, your choice. Most likely, you want to bottom deck that card. So, it's really good. 5,000 or less, 4 costs. The trigger here is special. Simply KO a frontline card. Now for your 4 finals of the deck, and yes, you can see here the text here is covering this. Remember, this is English translated, so if this ever comes out in English, you're going to be seeing this fit a lot more better here and seeing the full artwork of the card, artwork of the card. But you can see it's Basara's here. So VF19 Fire Valkyrie Basara Neki Fire Bomber B form 7 cost 1 action. This character cannot be played except by raid because it's very strong as a 5,000 power. So this character permanently has impact 1. If you have 5 or more cards, this character gains 2 damage. When this character attacks and wins, draw 1, and your opponent gets to add it back. Same thing, every Basara has this. Now here's the kicker here. On play, you and your opponent draws 1 card. Now technically this also is a drawing 1 card, so you might be able to use it to activate this in the same turn that you play that Basara. Then choose up to one of your opponent's front lines, 3,000 or less, then bottom deck it. However, if you have 5 or more cards, it is a 4,000. Very powerful. Unfortunately, only 4,000, so you won't be able to bottom deck like 45 to 5,000 characters, but very crazy strong card. Always impact, potential 2 damage. You remove something, you get to draw 1 on attack. The trigger is adding a raid, 5,000 BP, crazy strong. That's why it is 7 here. So that's why you absolutely need to search for these. You want to get at least 2 out per game to win. You're going to need your Mylene 3 costs. And you have a ton of 2+ energy generators just in case you don't get your Mylenes to hopefully fill your backline with 3+ energy cards, 3+2 energy cards, etc. So that is the deck. It's a very cool deck. It revolves around just these 2 characters, and it has a really cool new mechanic where if you attack and win, you draw a card, the opponent bounces it back. So that's one way to get around sidelining. It's kind of like a counterplay to like a lot of sideline decks, etc. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Head on over to my website to see the deck profile of this and more, and I'll see you next time. Bye.